So what is up, amigos? Hope you're doing awesome. My name is Maddie and welcome back to my channel. When the trailer of The Bads of Bollywood first came out, I said it right here on my channel that I wasn't very impressed. It looked decent, but it didn't feel like the explosive, boundary-breaking satire that it was marketed as. Aryan Khan's debut was being hyped as the boldest satire ever made in Bollywood, something that would shake the industry from inside. But my words back then were simple. It looks okay, not great. And after watching all 7 episodes, I stand exactly where I stood before. The show is entertaining in parts, it has flashes of sharpness, but it never quite becomes the revolution we were promised. It is part spoof, part dark comedy, part satire, and occasionally a personal dig at Aryan Khan's own past. But before we even get into the layers, let me give you a fair warning. This is absolutely not the kind of show or series that you can sit down to watch with your family or kids. Not because there is anything overtly erotic, but because of the sheer profanity of language that runs through it. Characters casually hurl abuses at each other, fathers at sons, children in front of parents, elders around youngsters. At times it feels unnecessarily uncomfortable, almost weird in how normalized the swearing is. Bobby Deol's Ajay Talwar repeatedly calling his son a is played for humor, but many Indian households will find such exchanges jarring rather than funny. Now, before getting into the cinematic review, it's worth noting what the show tries to balance here. Spoof is parody, mocking cliches and exaggerating tropes. Dark comedy is where humor comes out of cruelty or tragedy, making you laugh nervously at things that shouldn't be funny. Satire is where humor bites the hardest, exposing hypocrisy and forcing reflection. The Bads of Bollywood wants to juggle all three. At times, it spoofs Bollywood's excess perfectly. At times, it edges into grotesque, dark comedy, and at times, it gestures towards satire. But because it tries to do everything, it doesn't consistently nail one. And one thing that's in your face here, as he said, is how often expletives are thrown in not as natural extensions of characters or situations, but almost as punctuation to cover gaps in writing. Unlike a film like Gangs of Wasseypur, where even the most violent abuses during setups like Sultan's in the end feels hilariously organic, no matter how many times you rewatch it. Here, the gullies often come across as forced shock value. It's as if the script leans on language to create edge instead of letting situations and characters provide it. So the story follows Aasmaan Singh, played by Lakshya, a newcomer trying to make his way into Bollywood. After an early success, he signs a restrictive deal with producer Freddy Sodawala, a man who embodies the egotistical and manipulative side of the industry. He gets cast opposite Karishma Talwar, the debutante daughter of veteran actor Ajay Talwar, and naturally Ajay becomes a controlling presence, dictating how her career and image should unfold. Around Aasmaan is his circle of support: his mother Neeta Singh, his best friend Parvez, his manager Sanya, and his uncle, played by Manoj Pahwa, who brings warmth, humor, and grounding in a world otherwise filled with arrogance and cruelty. The plot takes us through betrayals, media scandals, viral clips, contractual disputes, and a blur between personal loyalty and professional ambition. And while the structure is familiar, the show's power comes from the little satirical moments it slips in between the gloss. Right at the start, the series sets the tone with a stuntman getting badly injured on set. Instead of halting production and concern, the machine shrugs off, a replacement is found, and the life goes on. That one moment tells you everything about how the industry values spectacle over people, and it's one of the sharpest satirical beats in the show. Freddy Sodawala's cruelty provides some of the darkest humor. There's a moment where he mocks and fat shames a female production designer, and when she dares to answer back, he physically knocks her out by kicking her. It's shocking and disgusting, but it's framed as grotesque comedy, forcing you to question why we laugh at such blatant abuse of power. In another scene, he flings piping hot coffee at his assistant simply because it wasn't to his liking. Again, you laugh and wince together, and that uncomfortable laughter is what the show occasionally gets right, because it is meant to. And then comes a scene that almost feels like Aryan Khan's own indulgence, the parody of an NCB officer who clearly resembles the man who once turned his life upside down. The way the officer behaves, biased and high-handed, feels like Aryan's way of giving it back, or maybe even mocking himself for what happened. It looks like a very personal insertion, the kind of indulgence only someone in Aryan's shoes could attempt. I could almost imagine a conversation at Mannat, Aryan going at Shah Rukh Khan saying, Papa, मैं एक scene उस बंदे पे करना चाहता हूँ. And Shah Rukh Khan going like, कर बेटा, तेरा बाप निपट लेगा. It's cheeky, it's self-referential, and while it may not add much to the story, it adds a certain catharsis that Aryan clearly wanted. Karan Johar's cameo is another highlight because he doesn't hide behind subtlety here at all. He fully embraces the movie mafia label, smirking through lines like, don't with the movie mafia, or I don't pay the paps for charity, go and pose for them to hype my film. It's arrogant, it's self-aware, and it lands because you know exactly who and what he is parodying. Similarly, there's a cheeky jab at the paparazzi obsession through a Disha Patani spoof, played by Disha herself, where she flaunts her body to the cameras, only to slip on a jacket midway, leaving the paps disappointed. It's a sly, funny reminder of how much of this circus is a game of tease and control. The show also spoofs Bollywood's underworld connection. There is an absurd fight sequence where Freddy Sodawala brawls with gangsters at a massage parlor. It's shot like a farce, almost cartoonish, but in its silliness, it underlines the strange overlap between glamour and crime. Arshad Warsi too enters the story as a gangster, and he plays it so naturally that he feels like a version of Shah Rukh Khan's Rais, cool, dusty and magnetic. Perhaps the sharpest parody comes in the round table spoof. Certain critic hosts a panel full of polished humility and forced banter. You see shades of Babil Khan's fake humility being lampooned, and even echoes of the infamous Siddhant and Ananya moment about outsider struggle versus nepotism. It's not subtle, but that's exactly why it works. It lays bare the hypocrisy of PR packaging. There are cameos sprinkled across the show, but two that shine are Shah Rukh Khan and Aamir Khan. Their appearances are short, but they make their presence felt instantly. Emraan Hashmi also shows up, and the scenes he shares with Raghav Juyal are some of the best. Raghav's awestruck expressions, his goofy fan energy, and Imran's casual swagger create a delightful clash. Ranveer Singh too appears in a cameo role, and it works particularly well because Raghav has the screen space to channel his manic energy and match Ranveer beat for beat. Those moments crackle with unfiltered vibe and electricity. And then there's Rajat Bedi, who makes a comeback playing a star trapped in blackmail. His performance leans towards caricature, but you can see he's giving it his all. It feels good to see him back on screen, and though his arc deserved more time, he delivers with sincerity. Now coming to performances, among the ensemble, Manoj Pahwa stands out as the soul of the show. He brings comic timing and grounded humor, but he also adds heart, making his character feel lived in amidst all the gloss. Raghav Juyal is a revelation, eccentric, unpredictable, and impossible to ignore. His raw energy lifts every scene he is in. Arshad Warsi is also effortless. Rajat Bedi adds an earnest throwback presence, and the cameos add star wattage. Lakshya, though, I might get some hate for this, but is uneven. In Kill, his action strengths gave him impact, but here he plays Aasmaan with restraint, deadpan expression, minimal body language, subdued energy. Maybe it was deliberate or directed, but in such a flamboyant world, this subtlety makes him fade at times. He's not bad, there's honesty in the performance, but the flair you expect in a lead doesn't fully appear. Seher Mamba has moments. Bobby Deol mixes menace and swagger as Ajay Talwar, and Mona Singh provides emotional grounding. Still, when I look back, the names that stay with me are Manoj Pahwa and Raghav Juyal. Now, talking of the technical aspects, the cinematography captures Bollywood's glitz with style. Parties, sets, award shows all shine on screen. Production design leans heavily into spectacle, at times parodying the very excess it glorifies. The editing keeps the energy high but sometimes feel uneven, leaving some conflicts undercooked. The background score adds to the glamour but doesn't stand out as memorable. Now I want to talk about this final stretch here. The last two episodes are where the show changes the tone dramatically. Episode 6 slows down so much into something resembling a typical Bollywood romantic drama. Emotional, dramatic, even soap-like at times. But then comes the finale. It starts with a ridiculously VFX-heavy car chase that feels almost like a parody of Bollywood's obsession with action spectacle, and then just when you think the show is slipping into melodrama, the twist lands. It reframes everything you've been watching and delivers the sharpest satirical blow of the series, and right after that, the title card appears. Till now, you'd been watching the Bads of Bollywood, but at the very end, the screen flashes the real name, the Dash of Bollywood. That reveal is timed to perfection. It justifies the entire journey and it makes you go, now I get it. It's a rare rare moment where the show truly earns with its edge and it leaves you with the right punch. So what do I feel about the Bads of Bollywood? Aryan Khan shows ambition to take digs at the industry, but he also plays it safe too often. The satire doesn't cut deep enough. Still, for a debut, this is a solid first step. Watch it for Manoj Pahwa, Raghav Juyal, Arshad Warsi, Emraan's cameo, Ranveer's energetic blink, and Rajat Bedi's return. Watch it for the round table spoof, the celebrity cameos, and the messy energy. But don't watch it expecting a revolution, because the Bads of Bollywood is okay, sometimes very good, occasionally bold, often flashy, and rarely profound. And maybe that's the danger of hype. When you promise the boldest satire ever, okay isn't enough. But that final title card, the dash of Bollywood, shows us that Aryan Khan has the instinct to land a late knockout. If he leans more into that in his next project, maybe then he can deliver the satire Bollywood truly needs. That's it from me today. Thank you for watching. If you liked the content, do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. You take care, stay awesome, and bye-bye.